Hey, welcome to Let It Be. I'm Vanessa, and this is my channel where I talk about music and whatever else I feel like. So if that sounds interesting, stick around. So this is the second installment of Should It Stay or Should It Go? A series where I look at albums in my collection that I feel like I need to reassess and need to determine if they belong. Over the years, as any collector knows, I've picked up lots of stuff that didn't necessarily work out as something that I really need to have. Whether it's the fact that I wanted to not leave the thrift store, the record store, wherever empty handed, or if I thought I would like it more than I actually did. We all have those albums that are hanging around our collection that just take up space that maybe we don't need to keep. Like for years, I wanted to keep everything, but as time goes on, I am seeing the value in having a collection of things that you really want, whether they be albums you love or artists you love. Um, it doesn't matter. We all have our own sort of criteria of what we want to keep. And sometimes it's not rational. But this series is me taking a closer look at the things that I probably could let go, but I don't want to take and make any rash decisions. I don't want to just get rid of things and then regret it later. I want to take a close look, listen to it again, really, really assess it, and then make my decision. So this is that journey. So the next album that I'm going to look at is an album by the Cocteau Twins called Victoria Land. So I am a fan overall of the Cocteau Twins, I would say. I have other albums by them that I have no plans to get rid of. And yeah, this one has always been, it's always not haunted me, but like it's always been a bit of a thorn in my side in a way because I bought it before I heard it, assuming I would like it because I liked other albums by theirs. I liked Heaven or Las Vegas, I liked Treasure, the usual ones that people point to. So this was on sale somewhere. I think I bought it the same time as I bought Treasure. I bought it brand new, so it wasn't cheap. And I'd never heard it, which sometimes that can be a mistake. So, yeah, I remember being pretty disappointed the first time I put it on. I remember it kind of going in one ear and out the other. And I thought, and of course I hoped, since I already owned it, that it would grow on me because sometimes albums like that, like they just need a little more, a couple more listens. They need some time. They need you to be in the right mood. But this one I've gone back to several times and it has never, ever hit the way that I wanted it to. And yeah, so it seemed like a perfect candidate for this, for me to give it a proper reassessment. So yeah, it opens with Lazy Calm, which is immediately pretty ambient sounding from the start for the first 3 minutes. And then the song kind of kicks in, and that switch is pretty ethereal. It's very nice. Like nothing about this album is harsh or bad or anything like that. It's all very pleasant, it's all very pretty, but it's just kind of as you go through the tracks, my notes are pretty well the same for a lot of the songs. It's like floats by like a fluffy cloud for fluffy tufts. It's pretty any changes are very subtle. They're often in the vocals or in a little bit of a melody here and there, but it lacks the mental staying power that my favorite stuff by them has. Like it just doesn't hit the same for me as something like Treasure, which also has wordless vocals, is also pretty atmospheric, but there are discernible songs that I remember on Treasure, whereas I can listen to this and just completely forget about what I've heard almost immediately after. Even the songs that I thought, oh, this is nice, this I like this one a little bit more. Like Whale's Tales, I thought was a little more interesting than some of the previous songs. There were some elevated sections and some subtle shifts that were interesting. And Little Spacey was another favorite. But again, like right now, I noted that they were my favorite, but I can't think of how they go. And like I've heard this album probably, I mean, several times at this point. So I don't think it's ever going to become an album that I'm going to choose to listen to by them. I'm always going to choose to listen to other albums if I want to listen to the Cocteau Twins. I'm not going to choose Victoria Land. So, do I really need to keep it? Like, in the end, it comes out as a 3-star album for me because it just doesn't stick, but it's pleasant. There's nothing dislikable about it. It's decent, it's good in the sense that I like the sounds they're making, but I am just never going to reach for it. So I think it can go. It's another one that's going to go. It's a pretty album. I can see its appeal. I can see why some people love it because it does seem to be one where people, even fans of the band, either are sort of like me about it or people love it because it does have that very nice atmospheric sound. Like if you were in the right mood and if that's something that you like, and look for in music, this would be a good album for that. But I appreciate it, I think, for that more than I ever want to listen to it. And it's taking up space that I could use for something that I'm actually going to put on. And I had it at 3.5 stars for a long time. Some of that I think is a bit of a reflection of wanting to like it more. Which I mean, I think we're all guilty of that. Sometimes your expectations play into how you score things. Occasionally, I'm trying to get away from that entirely, but it happens. So, yes, 3 is where I'm landing. The album is going. I have other Cocteau Twins albums that I own that I will be keeping, and I have a few others I'd like to pick up. I'd like to get Bluebell Knoll. I don't have that one, so maybe I just do an even exchange. Hard to say. But I just don't think that this particular album is essential for me to own, and they're not a band where I feel like I need to be a completist. I'll just get the albums that I want and scrap the rest. Because I mean, I'm sure as hell not going to go and buy Garlands either because I like that even less than this one. So yeah, it's just one of those things. Sometimes it's just good to let go of these extra albums that almost feel like a weight because you don't like them as much as you feel like you want to like them, especially after buying them. I mean, the last album that I covered in this series, The Flying Lizards debut, I got pretty cheap, so letting it go and like not liking it as much wasn't as hard to deal with as this one that cost me probably closer to $40 if I remember correctly. The Cocteau Twins albums are generally not that cheap. So yeah, there is a bit of a weight of expectation when you spend money like that. But yeah, this is just a new leaf looking at things and being realistic about collecting and trying to have the collection that the collection that's ideal for me, the collection that is just stuff that I really want to own, and the space I'm taking up is best utilized. I don't need quantity, I want quality. And I mean, there's some quantity with that, of course, because I love a lot of music, but I don't need to own things that I'm never going to listen to. Doesn't matter who they're by. So what are some albums that you think that you could get rid of? Is this something that sounds appealing to you to do to take a hard look at your collection and maybe make some hard decisions? I don't know. I'd love to hear if other people are doing such a thing because for a long time I really resisted it. I definitely did. And it was scary and it is still a little bit, but I think actually giving it a proper look helps. So anyway, till next time. Bye.